Now let's get to the one we all care about, the MVP, the Hart Trophy, the one that, it's completely subjective here. It's not like, Art Ross or Rocket Richard, where it's totally dictated by the, who leads in a certain category. This has got, votes, market size, all that stuff comes into play here. No surprise, Connor McDavid, the odds-on favorite, plus 200. Nate MacKinnon, second at plus 430, followed by Nikita Kucherov at plus 600. Leon Draisaitl, plus 950. Kirill Kaprizov, 11-1. Austin Matthews and Connor Hellebuck at 19-1. Cale Makar, 27-1, along with David Pastrnak and Jack Eichel. Jack Hughes is 35-1. Quinn Hughes, 40-1. Mitch Marner, 45-1. Mikko Rantanen, 65-1. And then at 80-1, you're looking at Artemi Panarin, Igor Shesterkin. And I was surprised to see Matthew Tkachuk still at 80-1. I guess that he could have that much of an impact in 60 games because that's probably what he's going to end up playing. But not somebody I would necessarily take for the Hart Trophy there. So when you take a look at that board, it's easy to say, it's McDavid or McKinnon's to lose. But what's a name out there that maybe jumps out at you that's not one of those top guys?
Rantanen.
Okay, I like that one.
That could be one. Yep. I was going to throw probably Kirill Kaprizov in there. I mean, yes, he got a lot of money, an absolute boatload of it. It's unfortunate that we got to just kind of rule out goalies and defensemen because they just don't win this award very often. I know Hellebuck did it, but I mean, look at the numbers that he had to put up in order to sniff the comp, just to get an opportunity to win it. It's not an award that goes to goalies very often. I don't remember the last time a defenseman won a Hart Trophy either. So the usual names are there. I think there's a little bit of disrespect there for Leon Draisaitl just because he's more than capable of winning it. I think sometimes he just gets overshadowed by what Connor McDavid does. But if I had to, sprinkle a little bit here, Kaprizov is probably the guy. And if people, Austin Matthews won it in 22, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the year where he just popped off. I don't know if he can. The only reason is because the loss of Mitch Marner is going to hurt. And I will say this, Cale Makar at 27-1. I don't know what the loss of Rantanen is going to look like for that team for a full 82 schedule. If he can come anywhere close to 100 points, if he's got 95 plus points to finish the year, it would be really hard to not give him that trophy.
Just for the last defenseman to win an award, had to worry about the Y2K bug because that was Chris Pronger back in the year 2000.
Okay, so it's been a minute then, right?
It's
been a minute.
McDavid hasn't won in a couple of years, and he's in a contract year. I think he's about to pop off, and this is, I feel like, his to lose. With regards to Rantanen, he's finally going to be comfortable in a new home, not having to worry about being traded or any of that stuff, contract situation. And Dallas has a really good team, so they got a really good offensive team. I could think he can get back to where he was before last season and how he ended actually in the playoffs there. I think we're going to see more of that from Mikko Rantanen this year.
I love the Rantanen long shot pick there, and as Marek pointed out, McDavid dragging Edmonton back to the playoffs. Of course, that's going to be a reason, but and then Craig Cody saying the Silver Fox Kaprizov was my pick, but carrying that new massive bag, I'm more doubtful. I don't know. I feel like when guys sign that contract, it's natural to worry about a letdown, but I do feel like in that first year, there's almost a responsibility to be like, hey, I'm the highest paid player in the NHL. I better go out and earn it. Otherwise, the fans will turn on you. So that's one thing to worry about. Now, State of Survival, another loyal guy here for the Total Hockey Now crew. What about Bedard or Celebrini? Is it more who's most valuable to their team? No. And yes, there is that age-old argument. Is it best player, most valuable to their team? The problem with Bedard or Celebrini, it is really tough. Even if they go out and Celebrini has a campaign for the ages, or Bedard bounces back and gets on pace to where we thought he was going to be in his third year. If they miss the playoffs or they're not sniffing the playoffs, same thing I was saying about a goalie to win the Calder. It's really tough to be like, yes, he may be the most valuable to his team, but his team didn't make the playoffs. So I almost think it's a prerequisite that you have to be in the playoff mix here. I'd have to see how many Hart Trophy winners missed the playoffs in the season they did. I don't know that off the top of my head, but that would be my problem with Celebrini or Bedard, is they would have to have an absolutely lights out campaign.
which is unfair to them as well in a certain extent, because like this isn't, yes, in some way it's a team event, but like he said, it's the most valuable player to his team. So to me, the way I evaluate it is if you take this player out, what is the impact of that? Like how much does it impact the team? And like some can argue, yeah, he didn't, they didn't make the playoffs with him. Okay, but if you take him out, like, does this team set new career, like franchise terrible, points in a season kind of thing, which is the other side of the coin. I will say this though, if let's say by some miracle, right, the world's falling apart, the sun explodes, I mean, who knows, Leafs make it past the first round, and San Jose or Chicago make the playoffs. Let's just even as an 8 seed or whatnot, that Bedard and Celebrini are going to be big parts of it. There are others, right? Coaches of the year, probably goalies of the year as well, kind of thing. Like if they get there and they sniff it, or even if they're right there, right, and they miss it, then that would be a legitimate argument to say, hey, you got to give it to one of those two. That's the only way I think you can dethrone some of the more regular names on this list.
I mean, you're seeing this debate a little bit with the AL MVP in baseball, Cal Raleigh with Aaron Judge, and obviously what Cal Raleigh did down the stretch, 60 home runs, switch hitting catcher, all that stuff. Like he just blew the argument out of the water for anybody that was saying Judge, even though Judge had a great year too. But yeah, I do think the being valuable to your team matters, and that's maybe why a Kaprizov with, let's face it, they're not doing anything to get deep in the playoffs without Kaprizov. And I mean, to be fair, they're in a tough Central Division, so they may not finish any higher in the standings, maybe more points, but they may not finish higher than wild card 1 just because of the Avalanche, Stars, and Jets. But to me, or Matthews, where at 19-1, we're like, hey, Marner's out of town now; he's going to have to carry the team. That's why like a Jack Eichel and Mitch Marner on the right side cancel each other out, because Eichel could have a great year and people can be like, yeah, well, he's skating with Marner, and Marner could have a lights out year and be like, well, of course, he's got Jack Eichel as a center. So.
This is the prom king and the prom king and prom queen award. Like it's basically on like who's your favorite player, right? Like that's it doesn't go to who it should, the same way the Norris Trophy goes to the defense with the most points, not necessarily the defenseman who plays best his position. The Hart Trophy falls into there. It's more of a popularity contest than ever.
And making the playoffs gives you a leg up. It's just like an extra notch, there to try to dethrone. Even if Bedard and Celebrini have a great year, they're going to have to do it double, like times 2 over McDavid and MacKinnon and Kucherov, all those guys, just to get in the opportunity. But if you got a little bit of money to waste and you put the odds down there, Adam, just a few seconds ago, I mean, you could do worse than, sprinkling a little here, a little there on both Celebrini and Bedard.
Celebrini would be the one for me though, because that Pacific
Yes.
Division it's not anything to write home about. So,
and his lineup, his teammates that he's working with is a lot better than what Bedard's got out there in Chicago.
Yes, I would agree with that if I was going to pick between those two, because Celebrini, now listen, Celebrini could easily have a sophomore slump, but like you said, the supporting cast around him in San Jose, plus Bedard's got to, get back from where he was last year to just even get in the conversation. So yeah, there we go. And then we'll talk about a couple other names on the list, but it's going to be mock draft sign up time here shortly. Guys in here, if you want to check the private chat, and then I'll put the link into the room for everybody else here in a second. But we're going to we'll have the draft in about 5.5 minutes plus the, Yahoo startup time. So it's about 7 minutes away here. Yeah. You're looking at those, Hart Trophy odds there. I see Chris in the chat. Now let's get this out to everybody else in the room if you want to partake. There you go. You have a Yahoo account. There's still 11 spots left in our 14-team mock draft there. So we'll
can I just say this real quick? And we've done this for now. What is it, about 3 or 4 seasons of between be Better Hockey Now and Total Hockey Now. This is the first season that almost every mock draft we've done, the rooms have been full, and it's been full with people that watch the show, and that's, to me, that's super exciting. It's nice to see the growth of this channel and how far we've come with all the mock drafts and all the coverage we give you throughout the year. And I'm pretty sure before I got on, Adam, you mentioned all the stuff and the tiers that we did for every position. So stay tuned with us and, subscribe if you like the content we put out, because we're here to stay. That's for sure.
Listen, we're except when the holidays fall on a Thursday, like Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, we're not going to be here. But Thursdays, most weeks, occasionally we'll have to slide over to accommodate for schedules, but especially in season, because Thursday is one of the big beefy days of the week for hockey in terms of just the overall game schedule and fantasy and DFS and wagering opportunities. So we'll be with you Thursdays, 5:00 Eastern, 2:00 Pacific, and like I said earlier in the show, at 5:30 we switch into preview mode and we run the board for the night. So this draft we got filling up here. We got 6 spots left. See a couple of people in here from the chat, hopefully a couple more. And like Ant said, in general, I think fantasy hockey took a jump in popularity from last year to this year, just because even going in the random Yahoo rooms, even couldn't get it in the chat. They were filling up early. Like, I remember, like, in the previous years, like when we were doing those first waves of Yahoos transitioning from ESPN, like it was just us always just us. Whether it was people in the chat here that are following along at Total Hockey Now or randos, it's just us. And this year it's been both. So good to see the sport, people realizing it's a fun one to play. And, it also times out well, because if you're at, some people, you might be at a point in your fantasy football season, you're like, well, my team's toast. There's no way I'm recovering from this. I'm not in that position yet in any of the leagues I'm in, thankfully. But we're here for hockey now. We made it. And there's 1 spot left. If you want to know, it's gone. ATN took number 11 there. So there we go. So that draft about 5 minutes away there. I do want to throw the Hart Trophy odds back up on the screen. See if there's anybody else you wanted to talk about. I think Shesterkin can win the Vezina. I don't think he's going to have a campaign where he's going to be in the same conversation. Like, he's going to have a Connor Hellebuck-esque campaign to be in the Hart Trophy conversation. But Panarin in a contract year, I know he's old. Maybe the Rangers bounce back. I mean, listen, the long shot I like on the right side of the screen is Rantanen for sure. And nailed the head there. This is his first full season in Dallas.
What about Eichel?
I think he cancels, him and Marner cancel each other out on that side. I think that's what ends up happening, is because
he's also in a contract year.
He is in a contract year, but I do think Marner, the addition of Marner hurts. It hurts Eichel's stock for the Hart Trophy, but his departure helps Austin Matthews' stock for the Hart Trophy. Because remember, this is a guy that, he was flirting with 70, and we all agreed he hit 70. It's a done deal. Like, just wrap it up. He should get the Hart Trophy, because 70 goals is a plateau we don't see very often. Rantanen in the long shot on the right. Pasternak at 27-1. Boston's just not going to be a good enough team. So, he may. There's a perfect example of where the most valuable player to a team doesn't matter, because he is clearly the most valuable player to the Boston Bruins. There is not even a close second place on that team right now. And he's got no shot at the Hart unless Boston gets to the playoffs, and he's the reason. So
do we know the last time a player won this trophy that their team did not make the playoffs?
We're gonna have to rely on AI for that, because I could have the Hart winners, and I got to try and remember who made the playoffs this year. Last Hart Trophy.
Also, if you're looking for just right, so Macklin Celebrini at 250-1, $10 bet pays $2,500. So if you have $10 lying around, you know what I mean?
That's what I was saying.
Instead of buying your wife for I'm sorry, what?
So Connor McDavid was the last Hart Trophy winner to miss the playoffs in 2023. That can't be right.
It can't be right.
It can't be right.
He's wrong.
So Marty St. Louis, it looks like 2003, 2000. See, that's why you can't just trust anything that just pops up on the internet, because I saw that and then I said it, and then I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
Are we even real? Like, we don't even know.
Well, I don't know which dimension we're in. I don't know which pill or key we picked, whatever the case. We're here doing Total Hockey Now on a Thursday evening on the East Coast and afternoon on the West Coast. Got a mock draft getting ready to go here, our final one of the season. And we look forward to that.
So cut out a pumpkin spice latte for your wife and tell her it's an investment. You could win $2,500, sweetie. She will never see it. And then when she's like, "Oh, did it hit?" You'd be like, "Of course not. The odd was like 0.4 to 0.4%." But you know what I mean? Those who don't try don't win, right?
That's one of those wagers where, like, you play, like you said, you're not expecting to win it, but you place it. And you're like, you never know. What if he has the sophomore season, the reverse of a sophomore slump? He goes on a stupendous sophomore season, just goes on a tear. But again, I don't think San Jose would be close enough to the playoffs, even if he had a lights out year. to be in that conversation. But the Pacific's a little, once you get past Edmonton and Vegas, it does open up a little bit, and we'll still throw LA into that conversation.